Hey Ramblers, this is Glenn, Blue Rambler Photo, and this is a video that I've been looking to do for a long time. Everything you need to do to develop black and white film at home. It's a lot easier than you think. This is mostly going to focus on 35mm, medium format 120. Not going to be too much different than this. Maybe we'll talk about a little bit of those differences. I've laid everything out here. We're going to go through it piece by piece. This is as much for me as it is for you because I haven't done this for a little while. So I'm making sure that I have everything. So while I'm doing this, I figured I might as well share with you what it takes to do black and white film development at home. So the first thing we're going to need is we're going to need some film. Now these are the two rolls that I've shot. So what we need to do first of all is to get the rolls into the development tanks. I'll talk about these in a second. Here's the roll. My first top tip. This is one of Glenn's PowerPoints. For those of you who are new for film, for the love of God, do not open this in the light, okay? You need a completely 100% dark environment to transfer your roll of film into the development tank. When we were doing it back in the 80s and 90s, it was just kind of everybody knew. But now we have whole generations that have grown up never even knowing anything about film. So they don't know about light sensitive materials. So if you're brand new, if you're young, if you don't know anything about film, the little film in here is sensitive to light. So that means if you open it up, it's going to be exposed, and that means it's going to ruin everything that you've already shot on the roll. Or if you haven't shot anything and you open this up, you're going to ruin the roll. You're going to ruin your film, okay? Do not open this in the light. So what do? How do we get from here into here? Well, this is one way to do it. This is called a darkroom bag. And I don't know if I'll open it up here. There we go. This is a darkroom bag. Okay, so it's got an opening. Once you open it up, it's got a zipper, and you throw in your film, you throw in your tank, you throw in one of these little doohickeys. It's an official photography term, doohickey. You throw in one of these to open it up. Don't do it now, but that's what it's going to look like. And some scissors, because you're going to need to cut the leader. Okay, so you throw all of this in here, and through a bit of magic, we'll talk about a little bit later about the actual process. This is a completely dark environment. Once you get everything in here, you zip this up, make sure that's folded down, and then we've got little sleeveys. Where do generals keep their armies? In their sleeveys. Got little sleeveys where you can reach in and you can do everything in the dark. 100% complete darkness, which is what you need. If you want to do it in like your closet or something, you have to make sure, you must make sure that it is a completely light, tight environment. You can't have a little bit of light coming through the bottom of the door. Everything must be shut down, locked down, no light at all. Or else a little bit of light's going to fog your film. It's going to ruin what you got on the roll. Let's say we successfully do that. We get the film into the developing tank. What kind of developing tank should you get? This is the stainless steel developing tank. This is what's called a Patterson tank. Stainless steel has these stainless steel rolls. So everything is stainless steel. The advantages of the stainless steel. The advantage for the Patterson tank is the ease of putting these on there. There's, I don't know if you can see on there, you got these little things, you slip the film in there and you just do this. and it automatically loads the film. It's very, very easy. This stainless steel, the method of attaching the film to the center of the roll is a little bit more complicated, especially more complicated because remember, you're doing everything while everything is in this. You're doing it completely blind. A lot easier to do it with the Patterson tank than with the stainless steel. That being said, since I've been doing this for a really, really long time and I've kind of got this down, I prefer the stainless steel. It's actually quicker for me to do this, even though it's more difficult because I got just years of experience doing this. But if you're brand new, if you're new to film, I highly recommend the Patterson tank. The process so far, we get the film, put everything in here, load the film into one of the tanks. Let's just assume it's the stainless steel. Okay, so the film is loaded now. These are both light tight because remember, film is light sensitive. You cannot expose it to light at all. It's gonna fog your film, it's gonna ruin your roll. Now, what are we gonna develop the film with? Well, there's three kind of chemicals that we're gonna need. We're gonna need developer, we're gonna need stop bath, we're gonna need fixer. I have my that are clearly marked. Development, stop bath, fixer. You're gonna need 3 measuring cups with 3 mixers. You're gonna wanna make sure that the mixer that you use to mix the development doesn't touch the chemicals in the fixer. You don't wanna cross-contaminate. Developer, what have I got? I purchased a brand new bottle of HC110, which is Kodak HC110. Now, why did I get that? Here's the deal. Developer is very complicated and there's a lot of facets to it. And because there's a lot of different outcomes that you can get because hopefully you're developing a lot of different types of film. For just really basic beginner, I would recommend something like a D76 or something like this. The advantage to this is I can do what's called a one-shot, which basically means I have a dilution, 1 part HC110 to I think 31 parts distilled water. And that's my dilution. And I mix it straight up in here, in there. Yeah. Okay. And now I got my little graded. This is how we measure out. This is how we measure out the 1 part and then distill the rest into the developer. And then your development time depends on the kind of film that you're developing. Always look for the manufacturer's suggested development times. There are different sources for different times, different temperatures, and we'll talk about that in a little bit when we actually do the developing. For right now, for our intents and purposes, just go by the manufacturer's suggested development. Every manufacturer prints or has available on their website the suggested development time and temperature. You want to make sure you get the chemicals to the right temperature. So you're going to need either an electric or an old-fashioned thermometer. Okay, you're going to need an electronic thermometer or just an old-fashioned thermometer. Film goes into your developing tank, and then we start developing. So you got your developer, you're going to pour that in, and you're going to do what we call agitation. And we'll do more of that. We'll talk more about that when we actually develop the roll. So let's say we finish developing. Let's say it's 7 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it takes. So now we pour out the developer. We'll talk about that in my next video about safe disposal. Now we need to stop the developing because if we leave, even if the developer's not here, there's going to be a little bit of residue or residual developer on the film, and it's going to continue to work unless it's neutralized. How do we neutralize it? We neutralize it with a stop bath. Stop bath. What do I use for a stop bath? White vinegar. Not all white vinegar. 3 3 parts distilled water to 1 part white vinegar. So that means for a gallon, I would say 4 quarts make a gallon, right? So 3 quarts of distilled water to 1 quart white vinegar. It's all you need. There's an entire rabbit hole that you can go down with Stop Bath. Over the decades of doing this, I've settled that this is the best way. Just plain white vinegar, 1 part to 3 parts distilled water for 30 seconds. So, pour out the developer, pour in the Stop Bath, agitate for 30 seconds, pour the Stop Bath out. The film has stopped developing. Everything should be good, right? The film is still light sensitive. So what you need to do is you need to what's called fix the film. At that final process of making sure not only the chemicals stopped, but making sure that we set everything that's on the film in a permanent state. And you do that by what's called fixing. You have a fixer. What I've chosen is Ilford Rapid Fixer. Now this is Rapid Fixer, which means the fix is for like 4 minutes. And then you put the fix back into the bottle. The fixer you're gonna mix in something like this. If we were using something like a D76 developer or something, the developer would have a separate jug, a separate container. Again, you see this is opaque, this is light tight, so that because light would deteriorate the chemicals over time. Once we're done, remember, pour the fix in here, fix it, fix gets poured back into here, and the fix gets poured back into here. Remember, the fix does not go down the drain. Okay, so it's gonna be mixed. We're gonna have it mixed in a big container, looks like that. So you're gonna need to pick one of these up. After that, you're gonna wash the film, which means at this point, because it's fixed, the film is no longer light sensitive. So we're gonna open it up. We're gonna run this over some running water. Okay, this is all gonna make sense when you see the video about how we actually develop. I'm just talking about the materials right now. And then I got something called PhotoFlow, which is just a little bit, you just put a little bit into the mix. You got this water, put a little bit of PhotoFlow in there, mix for like 5 seconds. What that does, that makes sure there's no streaks, make sure that's no watermarks. It really does make sure to make the film as clean and clear as possible. There are some people who say you can use like Dawn liquid to do PhotoFlow, which I'm sure would fine. I haven't tried it, so I can't actually recommend it. That's at the end of the process. So, okay. This is a squeegee. Make sure at the very end of the process, what you want to do is you want to hang the film. You want to make sure you hang it high so it doesn't, touch the ground or anything. It's one big strip. And then you're going to take the squeegee and you're going to go like this to wipe off any excess. You have to make sure the squeegee is moist, has been soaking in some hot water for a little while, or else you're going to get scratches. A lot of people don't use the squeegee because they get scratches, but they get scratches because the squeegee is dry. It's how they use this. So I'll explain about how to use this. If used correctly, it's an invaluable resource. This is a lot of information. Now, here's another thing I would recommend. Okay, this is a book called Photography. And this is the 6th edition. This is many, many years old, but it is the textbook that I used when I was in college, and it is a fantastic guide. Probably the best guide that's out there, I still think. I think they've got up to the 12th edition now, but you can pick this up 6th, maybe 7th edition or so, pretty cheap. And don't just get it on PDF, order the book, order the physical book. Yep. Whole big chapters on processing black and white film, okay? Not some guy on YouTube telling you how to do it. The equipment that you're going to use, the chemicals that you're going to need, the difference in the chemicals. It's a fantastic, fantastic resource, and I highly recommend if you're going to do film for any length of time. Even if it's just a hobby and you want to get started the right way, get this resource if you can. Again, that's an old book, 6th edition. There might be some stuff about the newer information at the time that might be out of date, but the core stuff, it's got a great section about the history of photography. It's got a great section, about cameras. It's a complete course, and it really would be a great addition in your library. If you're going to start from scratch, how much is all this going to cost as an initial outlay? And it shouldn't be that much. I know it's a lot of stuff. I might list up here a big general figure about what to look for, what your budget would be. This is everything that you need to develop black and white film. And so from here on out, we're actually going to be doing it. I don't know if I'm going to show you actually mixing the chemicals. We'll see. I don't know how that's going to work yet. But for now, I hope all of this made sense. If you have any questions, leave them below in the comments, and we'll see you later. Talk to you later, Ramblers. This is Glenn, Blue Rambler Photo.